Good morning, Bev Hepting here. I wanted to go through the six elements that make a great elevator pitch. These are the six things that people need to know when you're talking to them. So this ensures that you're able to just get it out there when people ask you what you do in a really clear and confident way. So think about what you need to put in the elevator pitch. Excuse me. And don't forget, an elevator pitch is based on the idea that you can tell somebody what you do in 60 seconds or less. The origins of it came around about getting into a lift with somebody like Richard Branson or somebody else equally hugely rich that could give you money. And they ask you what you do, and you're able to tell them before they get off at their lift, their floor. Don't ask, but basically, every time you go networking, you're going to be asked what you do and to stand up and give your 60-second business introduction. It's the same theory if you're pitching for funding, but there's some slight differences in this. So this is around becoming a networking ninja. So what your pitch really needs is a hook. Get them quick. They want to know what problem you solve. They want to know what the solution is and the journey. So let's have a look. So first of all, the hook. Got to grab them quick. So for instance, my hook sometimes, depending on my audience, is, are you terrified of public speaking? Well, I can turn you into a triumphant public speaker. So you've got to grab that listener's attention. And sometimes it's like, did you know that public speaking is the third most stressful thing you can do in your life? Or 99% of plastics are found in the sea. Something that's going to grab them. And it could be a negative thing to make people go, oh, or a great thing, and it'll give a different reaction. But that hook needs to have an emotional reaction from the people you're talking to. And it needs to be thought-provoking, because when you're networking, everybody's sitting around that table thinking, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? And even if they've already done their bit, they're still miles away thinking about, breakfast or appointments they've got that day. So you have to break through that noise and get people to look up and really listen to you. Now, if you really think about any of the things you have bought, anything, you've bought it because it solved a problem at the time. And people's problems are what takes them to go and buy the remedy. So it has to be very specific and relatable, okay? And it's not enough to just say, I'm a solicitor or I'm a travel agent or I'm a this or a that, because we sort of know about these people. They float around in our heads, but we don't really think about it. But if you turn around to somebody and say, instead of I'm a travel agent, I fulfill the dreams of people who want to get out and see the world. Do you see the difference? That difference is the emotional pull to the sort of, I'm a travel agent, or I help couples get through their divorce with as least mess and fighting as possible. For me, I take terrified public speakers and turn them into triumphant speakers, speaking with confidence and clarity. So what you're actually saying is, I'm going to take you from where you are now to where you want to be. The problem. And keep it concise, really clear. People don't want jargon. There's enough going on in our heads without having to figure out what you're actually saying. And I'm not picking on therapists, but sometimes you say things, I'm a Reiki this or a whatever that. And half of your pitch is spent with people going, Reiki, what is that? Or I can't even remember some of the most complicated ones that came up. And I completely missed people's pitches trying to figure out what that is. And actually, they're just the tools you use to achieve something. Okay? A lot of the times, a solicitor uses the law to achieve something. A therapist will use whatever tools they use to achieve something. I use my skills and my resources to achieve something for people. So really be clear about the problem you're solving, because that will make people go, oh, that's me. That's where I am. And really think about that question and dive deep into the question of, how are people feeling when they contact you? What has got them to that point where they're going to contact you? So, for instance, for me, when it talks about public speaking or confident speaking, one of the things is, have you been asked to do a speech but haven't got the nerves to stand up and say yes? A lot of people are going, yeah, that's me. Okay? The solution, you're the solution, clearly indicate that you can take them on the journey and solve the problem. I can solve your problem by showing you how to get over the fear, how to be confident, how to write a clear pitch, and end up, being able to stand up in a meeting room and tell people what you do or answer a question. It's about people buying the end. They don't buy the middle, they don't buy the beginning, they buy the end. They buy the end of the journey. And often you may have been through that journey, or you have qualifications and knowledge that will get them through that journey to where they want to be. And the greater the need for the end of that journey, the more people are going to buy in. So, and it's about you having a unique solution to the problem. So if somebody says, go back to solicitors, I'm a solicitor, I can help you get divorced. That's very vague. A lot of solicitors can do that. But if you stand up and say, I can help you get through a divorce without the mess, without all the legal things taking forever, and ensure that the pair of you at the end of it have a fair equity or whatever, people listen, because that's what they want. The divorce, they may or may not want it, but what they want is that end bit where it says it's all been done and it hasn't cost so much and it hasn't been so messy. House hunting. When people are hunting for a house, yes, they're hunting for a house, but what they're truly looking for is that dream home where they can put their feet up and relax. That home where they can raise their family. That's what they're looking for, not just house hunting. So think about where people are feeling about what the problem is, and explain how you can solve the problem better than anyone else. So, for instance, for me, I can solve your problem of being terrified of speaking because I'm an award-winning speaker. I've been an international speaker. I've done a TEDx, and I have spent years learning NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. There you go. That's why you should never use abbreviations. In order to conquer my own fears and to understand why people get so scared. So you have a problem, I have the solution. This is why I'm the best person for your solution. And it doesn't always mean that that's about qualifications. Sometimes it's just about experience. I've been through this, I'm out of it now, and this is how I did it, and I can do it for you too. It's about a uniqueness. That's why you're not just a solicitor, you're not just an accountant, you're not just a travel agent. You're something more that makes you different from all the others. The USP, unique selling point, this is what sets you apart. And often this is the point where I say to people, put some of your story in there. Put some story in there that will make it different than everybody else's. And that's your journey. And I knew I had somebody once who told me that falling out of a taxi face down onto tarmac she thought she was dead. That was her pivotal moment in life that made her change what was going on. There are always pivotal moments in life. And if we can experience those pivotal moments and understand them, that's what makes you stand out from everybody else. I talk a lot when I'm doing more than 60 seconds that, I got fibromyalgia. I'd spent 2 years in bed wondering what I was going to do next, when hubby turned around and said, "But Bev, you can speak, you can talk. That's what you've been doing your whole life. You've got awards for it, and you went to theatre school, and why don't you use your voice?" That was my pivotal moment when I went, of course, and got myself out of bed. So unless you're a brain surgeon, which I really do think you should have qualifications for, you don't always need that. Sometimes it's just about your experience that you can take people through to end up at the end. That's part of your USP. And your USP needs to be focused on what you bring to the customer. So another thing I do is about fun, it's about engagement, it's about getting over yourselves. It's I'm not a reverend type coach. I coach very empathically to people, on how they want to learn. And it needs to be short and it needs to be memorable. Okay, because remember, this is 60 seconds. So you also want people to remember it. Define your target market. Now, sometimes people don't do this, and that's fine. You may still be struggling with your target market, but bear in mind, people don't like being disappointed. So if you only work with women and you're in a mixed networking group, tell them you work with women. So I generally work with women. I work with men too, but I generally work with women. That's where all my marketing goes. Understanding your market's pain points and needs. So I know small business owners, so female who run small businesses, need to stand up and start speaking about their business. It's part of their marketing, it should be part of their strategy. And if they're not doing it, somebody else will, but not in the right way. And pitching it towards your target market's interests, their values. So a lot of people that I work with go, I want to do a TEDx. Public speakers all want to do a TEDx, or I just want to get my message clear. So understanding who you're talking to is really important. So when you're networking, I would advise you to think about where you network, because is your target audience there or not? If you go to all male networking clubs, circles, groups, whatever, and you only work with women, you might be getting a great breakfast, but you're wasting your time. And this is the most important and the one thing people forget. The call to action. Tell people what you want them to do. Make it clear, make it concise. Like, ring me if you want any more information. Catch me after this meeting and we can have a chat. Pick up a leaflet. Go onto the website. Tell them what you want them to do and encourage them to do a very specific action, such as book some time with me and let's have a chat over a coffee. This isn't about hard sale call to action. This is about how do you get them from around the table to come and have a conversation with you one-to-one. This is the next step. Okay, so we're not selling around that table at all. What we're doing is defining to them what you do in such a way that they go, I need that. Or I know someone who needs that. I need to have a chat with this person. Okay, so make it really, really easy for them to follow up with you. And what I will always say at the end of networking is, I hope you don't mind, but I've got your email addresses. Hopefully, you've managed to get that from the group around the table. You've taken a card from everybody and generally got everything you need in order to follow up from the meeting. So I would say, I've got all your emails. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to send you a quick email recapping my 60 seconds just for you to look at. Obviously, you can bin it or do what you like when you're finished, but That's going to be your follow-up. And then after the meeting, follow up. Okay. Not everybody will be happy to be on your email list, but they can just as easily come off your email list. But it's a way to collect those emails. And if you're all sitting around the table, very rarely will people not want you, unless what you do is just nothing to do with them or their needs or anything else. So, collect those emails. Don't waste any of that time that you've spent networking and money that you have paid to go networking, whether that's online or offline. Okay. Use every opportunity to get those contact details. And when you do follow up, just take this a little bit further and make that let's have a cup of tea. Can I chat to you a bit more about what I do? That's the next step, part of your funnel. Okay, I really do hope that helps. And if you want any more information, then go look at allthewsbevhepting.com. Contact me, bev@bevhepting.com. It's all over the website. It's all over social media, really. And we can have a chat about your elevator pitch or messaging or anything else to do with how you are going to use your unique, amazing voice to grow your business. All right. Bye.